All right, so here is a second option if they're pushing on you from that leg drag position. So, here, I get into my leg drag. She's pushing on me. Boom. If I decide I don't want to take the back, or I feel like this attack is there, maybe to try it first, I'll go for this one as well. So instead, same setup as to take the back. I'm going to guide this here, but I'm not trying to really force her up as much. So I guide it off. This hand is going to shoot through, but it's going to shoot all the way through like I'm cross-facing her. Once I get this hand through, I'm going to try to drop below this elbow. So if I try to lock in my head and arm above the elbow or the Ezekiel above, she basically has a frame right there. So when I pop it over and shoot this under, I get below that elbow and my ear, and I try to get my ear closer to her shoulder here. Alright, so now I start making my adjustments to start attacking the head and arm choke. So I'll lift her head up and I'll make sure my bicep is right there on her carotid, and then I can go palm to palm. Some people like to go kind of a rear naked choke grip. I don't think that this is necessary. You can do it that way, but this way, as long as there's no space on the other side, I can actually finish everything like one-armed. Alright? So I use the palm to palm just to kind of like stabilize myself. But I have hit it to where with like one arm. Alright? Here, alright. Yeah, she's pushing on my chest. Pop the elbow, shoot this deep, and then drop below her elbow here. I don't need to have my leg in the leg drag position anymore, so I'm more right alongside of her. I'm parallel to her. I'll start making my adjustments, kind of pulling her head up just a little bit, because if I try to just move my arm, there is a little bit of friction there. So I'll pull it up and then get that deep to where my bicep is right there on this carotid. I'll go palm to palm, and I start to really finish the head and arm choke. I'm dropping my shoulder, like just dropping it into her carotid. You can finish it by circling out, but all I really need is to make sure that there's no space on that side, on this side right here. So I'm here, I just drop that right there into her carotid. And anytime I'm doing a choke too, I don't go from 0 to 100. Because that's a good way, if it's not locked in like right, it's a good way to burn out your arms. So I'll start like slowly increasing the pressure. So I'll go 0 to 10% to 20% to 30%. And then they should be tapping by the time you hit 20 or 30%. So she's pushing on my chest, pop, pop, boom. So here. I'm going to make sure she's flat on her back, make my adjustment here, and like I said, you can finish it like this. If I cut my angle just a little bit, it helps as well, because angles make strangles. Alright. So what if I can't keep her flat? This is actually a pretty common defense to the head and arm choke, but it feeds right into the head and arm Ezekiel choke. So same exact setup. She's pushing on me. I pop the elbow. I shoot this deep. I go to hit my head and arm choke, but she goes up on her side. So even like this, I can't pressure this shoulder into that carotid, and I can't really get proper pressure on that carotid. So I'm going to sneak the cross-faced hand out just a little bit to where like my thumb's on the back of her neck. Right there. And I'm going to grab my own sleeve. So the hand that's cross-facing grabs this sleeve right there, and I'm going to start pulling it in here. I want to brace on the back of her head, and then I'm going to drop to this hip. here. Alright, so now I have a head and arm Ezekiel locked in, and to finish it, I'm just going to start pulling this arm. I'm going to be pulling it like this. And I give it a little cast too, just like you're fishing, cast it. So here, here, and then when I pull this in, and then I give it a little cast, and if it's locked in good, they'll tap pretty quick. So I'm just pulling everything. If my elbow is too far this way, there's just a little bit too much space. So when I drag it all out, take out the slack, bracing the back of her head with this hand. I don't need to use that fist to try and hit that carotid or anything like that. Like, it's just unnecessary. I'm bracing the back of her head. I'm pulling out the slack. I'm casting. And then I'm just slowly increasing my squeeze. Just like that. Okay, so, boom. Got my leg drag. She pushes on my chest. Pop. Boom. I want the head and arm choke. She goes up to her side. So right away, bring this down. You can get this grip first and make your adjustment. So that's going to be personal preference. You can go here and here, or you can lock it in here and then make your adjustments there. Whatever way you want to do it. And just like when I'm taking the back, I'm going to fill in this space, brace on the back of her head, take out the slack and cast, and because I'm bracing the back of her head, I'm not putting my fist into that carotid. I'm just bracing everything there, here, and a little cast. So, 2 more options off of if they're pushing on you. So, you're going to either initially, so you most likely will initially go for the head and arm choke. If they try to counter it by rocking up to their side, because I'll do that. Like if somebody has me in head and arm choke, or like a head and arm like choke like this. Obviously anacondas and darces are head and arm chokes, but this head and arm choke, I will turn on to my side and kind of bait the Ezekiel, but if they get the Ezekiel, I'm kind of out of the pan into the fire. So, I mean, it's a last-ditch effort, and sometimes you can get out, but you'll go for the head and arm, they roll, you go head and arm Ezekiel, and it's a beautiful thing. So, feels good too, right?
Oh, it feels lovely.
So, there's 2 more options for you if they're pushing off of you.